Did you know? The quietest voice inside your head could be the loudest force shaping your entire life. What if you could silence that negative whisper and instead unleash strength, clarity, and calm? Today, we dive into a powerful journey, killing negative thinking, not by ignoring it, but by mastering it through Stoic wisdom and conscious awareness. It may surprise you to learn that 85% of people struggle with low self-esteem due to negative self-talk at some point in their lives. That number alone should stop us in our tracks and make us wonder what's really going on inside our minds. This isn't merely about silencing the inner critic. It's about reclaiming your power, about taking back control to live a more meaningful, fulfilling life. In the realm of Stoic philosophy, we discover a timeless truth. Our thoughts are not mere whispers, they are powerful voices that define our happiness or despair. The Stoics weren't just thinkers, they were mental warriors battling chaos and negativity with calm, reason, and discipline. Today, I'll guide you through how negative thinking shapes our lives and how Stoic strategies can help you break free. You'll learn to use your mind as a tool, sharpened by practice, not to be chained by darkness, but to be led by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. If you're skeptical, I ask you to stay. This may challenge some of your long-held beliefs, but it might also open the doors to a completely new horizon of personal evolution. Before we jump in, share this video with someone on their own journey. And if you find value in what we explore, hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it fuels this path we walk together. Now let's begin. Negative thinking isn't just a mood or a moment. It's a subtle toxin affecting every part of your life, from how you feel in the morning to the choices you make about health, career, and love. But what exactly is it? It's a habit of expecting failure, doubting yourself, and feeling unworthy. The Stoics believed it wasn't the event that disturbed us, but how we viewed it. As Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. That idea is the root of our problem. It's not the reality that binds us, it's the lens through which we see the world. And just as Carl Jung explored the inner world of the psyche in the next section, we'll begin to understand it even deeper. As we just uncovered, the problem isn't in reality itself, but in how we interpret it. And to truly shift the way we think, we must go deeper, into the unseen corners of the unconscious mind. Carl Jung, the famed psychologist, offered profound insights into the roots of negative thinking. He believed that many of our destructive thoughts don't arise from our conscious awareness, but from the deeper layers of the psyche, the personal and collective unconscious. Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." By shining light on these buried beliefs and biases, we start to loosen their grip on our lives. Think for a moment. How often have you faced a challenge and felt defeated before even starting? That's what negative thinking does. It's like rowing a boat with all your strength, unaware that the anchor is still down. No matter how hard you try, you're going nowhere. Stoicism teaches us to confront our thoughts with reason and clarity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us to examine our thoughts carefully and reject those that are irrational or unhelpful. This introspective process helps us detach from harmful patterns and reclaim control over our mental terrain. We can't ignore the power of social and cultural conditioning. In a world saturated with messages of not enough, not successful enough, rich enough, or smart enough, it's no wonder that seeds of doubt grow wild in the mind. But Stoic philosophy equips us with the tools to clear those weeds and plant something stronger, thoughts that are reasoned, constructive, and empowering. Today's battle with negative thinking isn't about pushing these thoughts away. It's about understanding them deeply, questioning them rigorously, and transforming them with clarity and purpose. When we master our thoughts, we master our perceptions, and ultimately, we master our lives. So remember, every thought you choose to keep and every thought you dare to let go is a step toward becoming who you truly want to be. True healing doesn't happen on the surface. It begins by digging into the roots of what silently shapes us. And in the next part, we'll go deeper into these roots, our upbringing, societal expectations, and even small comments that left lasting scars. Continuing from where we left off, it's important to understand that the seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation are often planted early, and often in places we least expect. From a very young age, many of us are immersed in environments that don't truly nurture positive self-worth. Imagine a child constantly told they're not smart enough, or one growing up in a school system that only rewards perfection while punishing mistakes. These experiences leave marks, subtle but deep, that begin to shape how we see ourselves and the world. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. If we apply that to the mind, we realize that repeated negative thoughts can become a habit, a default lens through which we view ourselves as less than we truly are. Every failure, every rejection, every criticism can become another drop in the bucket of our negative internal dialogue. And soon, that voice inside whispers, "See, I told you you couldn't do it." Over time, we begin to live in alignment with those whispers, not because we lack ability, but because we believe we do. Plato's idea that reality is created by the mind, we can change our reality by changing our mind, is incredibly relevant here. By examining how we interpret our experiences, we begin dismantling the foundation that holds our negative thoughts in place. Fear also plays a central role in this spiral. It's a natural survival response, but left unchecked, it becomes anxiety and excessive worry. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. These fears can spiral into worst-case thinking, clouding our judgment and preventing us from taking bold steps. Stoicism counters this with a practice called premeditatio malorum, preparing ourselves emotionally by imagining the worst-case scenario in vivid detail. This not only reduces fear, but empowers us to meet challenges with clarity. Jung reminded us that until the unconscious becomes conscious, it will continue to control our lives. Many negative beliefs are formed in childhood from our parents, teachers, or media, and remain unchecked simply because they've never been fully brought into our awareness. But once exposed to the light of reflection, these beliefs lose their grip. We also can't ignore societal and cultural pressures. We live in a world that promotes scarcity, celebrates competition, and sets unrealistic expectations. In such a setting, comparison becomes instinctive, and the feeling of never enough becomes our constant companion. Stoicism teaches us to shift our focus inward, toward inner virtues and personal development, and to define success not by others' approval, but by the growth we achieve within. In the next part, we'll explore how Stoicism offers us a path to inner clarity and strength, even amid the chaos of a demanding world. In the previous section, we explored how societal pressures and constant comparison fuel negative thinking. Now it's time to delve deeper into its roots. Negative thinking isn't just a bad habit, it's the outcome of a tangled web. Our personal history, emotional scars, childhood fears, and countless subtle societal messages whispering that we're not enough. But here's the good news. By combining the wisdom of Western philosophy and modern psychology, especially the Stoic emphasis on perception and response, we can begin to understand and unravel these mental patterns. This deeper awareness not only softens the grip of negative thinking, but also empowers us to rebuild our mental framework with strength and resilience. When we talk about renewing the mind, we're not referring to a fleeting attempt at positive thinking. What we mean is a profound and lasting transformation of our inner dialogue, one that enables us not just to endure, but to flourish. This is exactly what the Stoic philosophers envisioned. Through the disciplined practice of examining our thoughts daily, we learn to build an internal world grounded in peace and resilience. A cornerstone of Stoic thought is the belief that our emotions and reactions stem not from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. And judgment is within our control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't just a reminder, it's a roadmap. Mental renewal begins when we seize control of our thoughts, examine their accuracy, and align them with our truest values. Aristotle added another piece of this puzzle. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. This inward journey starts with recognizing thought patterns. Some help us thrive, others sabotage our efforts silently. The goal of changing our thoughts isn't to deny emotion, it's to understand our emotions more deeply so that we can manage them more wisely and compassionately. Psychologist Carl Jung offered a striking insight. What you resist not only persists, but grows. This aligns perfectly with Stoic teaching. Instead of resisting negative thoughts, we face them, analyze their source, and test their truth. By doing so, we stop these thoughts from growing unchecked in the shadows of our unconscious and begin reclaiming our power. And yet the journey to renewing the mind cannot be complete without a deeper engagement with, as we continue the journey of mental renewal. After learning to examine and control our thoughts, the next crucial step is to intentionally surround ourselves with materials and practices that foster positivity and growth. This doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's simply choosing to read a thought-provoking piece of philosophy, immersing ourselves in inspiring art, or setting aside quiet time for reflection and meditation. Such daily practices may seem minor, but they replace the outdated, unhelpful narratives in our minds with fresh perspectives that uplift and empower. Socrates insisted on the importance of living an examined life. By continually revisiting our beliefs and challenging our thought patterns, we engage in an ongoing renewal that keeps the mind sharp and aligned with our values. Plato, too, emphasized the importance of aligning with the forms, the ideal expressions of justice, beauty, and goodness. Similarly, renewing our minds means adjusting our thinking to reflect the most virtuous and empowered version of who we can become. It's about building a self-image that is strong, compassionate, and wise. To bring these principles into action, start simple, recite a morning affirmation, or reflect on a quote from Epictetus, reminding you that power lies in your response, not the external event. Even a quiet mantra can help, one that reminds us strength is found in facing our inner shadows. These small daily rituals become the foundation for a truly renewed mind. Part of this renewal also means being deliberate about choosing the people, environments, and media that nurture your mental and emotional well-being. Seneca's timeless advice comes to mind: associate with those who are likely to improve you. It encourages us to be discerning with our relationships, to grow through meaningful connections. Aristotle, too, spoke about friendships. He categorized them into three types of utility, pleasure, and the good. The highest form, the friendship of the good, is based on mutual admiration of each other's virtues. These are the connections that encourage us to grow into our best selves rooted in a shared pursuit of excellence. And when considering the influence of our environment, Plato's allegory of the cave is profoundly relevant. People confined in a cave believed shadows on the wall were reality, because it was all they'd ever known. But what happens when one of them escapes and sees the real world for the first time? When a person escapes the cave in Plato's allegory, he doesn't just step into the light, he realizes how limited his previous understanding was. This powerful metaphor reminds us that changing our environment can radically shift our perspective, opening doors to higher levels of awareness. Surrounding ourselves with enlightening and positive influences doesn't just brighten our worldview, it helps us transcend old limitations and evolve into a more awakened version of ourselves. Carl Jung, with his concepts of the collective unconscious and archetypes, adds another dimension to this idea. He suggested that our psyche is shaped not only by personal memory, but by inherited cultural symbols passed down through generations. These collective patterns subtly shape how we see the world and our role in it. That's why surrounding ourselves with positivity involves more than just cheerful company. It's about deliberately choosing experiences, content, and spaces that align with our values and support our personal and philosophical growth. Instead of staying in circles filled with criticism and negativity, we should seek out communities, both online and offline, that foster encouragement and constructive dialogue. We must also be mindful of the media we consume. Every book, movie, or show has the potential to either elevate or diminish our spirit. Let us choose stories that inspire and educate, rather than those that stir fear or despair. And remember, your physical space reflects your mental space. In Stoic thought, a clean and orderly environment is a sign of a clear and disciplined mind. Start small. Decorate your room or office with symbols and quotes that embody your core values: courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. These visuals, cues gently guide us back to our highest intentions day after day. Seneca's wisdom echoes through time. Hold on to your youthful enthusiasms. You'll use them better when you're older. By staying close to positive energy, we're preserving and nurturing the passions that bring out our best selves. And in doing so, we create ripples of growth and light for everyone around us. In our mission to overcome negative thinking, Stoic, philosophers remind us that awareness and intention are not enough. We must act, as Epictetus once said. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This simple yet profound advice underscores a timeless truth. Our ideals must become visible through our actions, not just our words. So what does it mean then to take action in the Stoic sense? In the previous section, we came to a pivotal realization. Stoic ideals must be lived out, not just thought about. Now, we dive deeper into what it truly means to act in alignment with those ideals. Practicing Stoic action is not about impulsive reactions. It is about deliberate, repeated choices made every day that reflect our core values: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. When we act through these virtues, we directly confront the negative thoughts that whisper we are weak or unworthy. In doing so, we rewrite our personal narrative, one rooted in empowerment and self-belief. Aristotle emphasized this in his doctrine of the mean. He argued that virtue isn't just a mental state, it's a habit, forged through consistent action. We become, just by acting justly, brave by performing acts of courage, and temperate through the discipline of moderation. Virtue, then, is not something we possess. It is something we continually create through what we do. Plato, through his theory of forms, suggested that true knowledge always leads to right action. To know the good is to do the good when we act. In accordance with our Stoic understanding of virtue, we draw closer to the Platonic ideal of the good. elevating not just our minds, but our entire being. Carl Jung offers further insight through his concept of individuation, the psychological process of integrating our conscious and unconscious selves. He reminds us that this growth doesn't happen in silence or stillness, but through real-world experiences that test and expand us. Jung famously said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." Our actions, not our intentions, reveal who we truly are. Therefore, Stoic action is not only about resisting negativity, it's about living with purpose. It's about making choices, big and small, that reflect a deep commitment to personal growth and philosophical integrity. It might be choosing to speak with kindness in a moment of tension. It might be facing a long-standing fear or forgiving someone who once hurt us. Each of these acts is a stepping stone toward the person we are meant to become. More importantly, Stoic action demands that we don't run from hardship. The Stoic sees difficulty as a training ground, a proving ground for virtue. Each obstacle becomes a call to act, an invitation to, continuing from the previous insights, where every action was revealed to be a training ground for virtue. We now ask, what does Stoic action look like in everyday life? The truth is, Stoic practice doesn't require grand gestures. It might be as simple as setting daily goals that reflect our values, or engaging in community service that cultivates justice and kindness, or even maintaining daily disciplines, like journaling and meditation to foster self-awareness and emotional discipline. Each of these simple actions doesn't just push back against negative thinking, they actively build a stronger, more virtuous self. But Stoicism teaches us that virtue is not only shown in action, but also in speech. Words carry enormous weight in shaping our internal and external world. Epictetus once said, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." His advice points to the profound power of language, not just as an expression, but as a tool for transformation. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on communication in his personal writings. He believed that our words should be infused with the virtues we cultivate: honesty, restraint, and kindness. When we speak from this place, we strengthen our Stoic path and radiate its influence outward into our relationships and communities. Aristotle contributed to this understanding through his framework of ethos, pathos, and logos, credibility, emotional connection, and logical reasoning. He taught that the way we speak shapes how others think and feel. Words aren't just data, they're tools of influence, capable of changing hearts and minds. Plato's Socratic dialogues beautifully demonstrate this. Through thoughtful questioning and guided dialogue, Socrates would lead others to discover deeper truths. Plato shows that with precision and care, language becomes a path to awakening. From a psychological perspective, Carl Jung's work further affirms this Stoic insight. He believed that language reflects and shapes our unconscious mind. Through mindful speech, we bring hidden thoughts and impulses into conscious awareness, allowing us to better understand. Following our reflections on the power of language, in both our external and internal conversations, we now understand that dialogue and reflection are key to integrating the components of our psyche, leading to deeper wholeness and lasting mental well-being. Words shape not just the world, but also ourselves. Our inner dialogues, these silent monologues we have with ourselves each day, play a powerful role in how we perceive our worth and manage our emotions. Negative self-talk, though common, can slowly corrode our spirit, draining motivation and feeding a sense of helplessness. On the other hand, Stoic-aligned self-talk, firm, fair, courageous, and composed, can uplift and empower us, even in the darkest of moments. Positive affirmations, a tool often used in modern cognitive behavioral therapy, beautifully align with Stoic mental training. But these are not empty phrases, they are intentional reminders that we can control our responses and that we are committed to living in harmony with our values. Each affirmation strengthens our Stoic resilience and recenters our mindset. Therefore, in Stoicism, the power of words is not merely a concept, it is a practical force. It influences how we speak to others, how we speak to ourselves, and how we engage with the broader culture. Every word we choose either builds or destroys, illuminates or clouds, heals or harms. As we continue to cultivate Stoic virtues, let us remain deeply aware of the transformative force of language. With it, we shape who we become, how we affect others, and the kind of world we contribute to, one that aligns more closely with reason, virtue, and wisdom. Thank you for joining us on this profound journey through the heart of Stoic philosophy. Remember, the words you speak and the actions you choose forge the path to a life rich with purpose and character. If you found today's exploration meaningful, I invite you to continue your journey by watching our next video where we dive into how Stoicism helps us overcome adversity. It's right here on the screen. Just click and keep going. Thank you for being part of our Stoicism Philosophy Daily. Together, we are building more than knowledge. We are cultivating a community of wisdom, strength, and deep personal growth.